Good morning, everyone. This is Sai Kumar. Today I am going to explain about authentication models and SHA-2 algorithm. In this, we will be discussing about what is authentication models, types of authentication models, how to implement each model, what is SHA-2 algorithm, and working on implementation of 2 algorithm. So basically, what is authentication model? Authentication model is used for recognizing a user's identity. For example, if you want to log into your Gmail account, you will be provided with a set of credentials. For example, username and password, and they will be and that details will be stored in the database. So when you try to log in, the values in the database and the login credential will be checked, compared each other. So if they match, so you will be able to access the data. Otherwise, you will be denied. So there are many types of authentication models in cryptography, but we will be discussing about mainly three of them. First one is message encryption, second one is hash function, and third one is message authentication code. So in message encryption, ciphertext acts as an authenticator. It means when we encrypt the message, uh, the output is ciphertext, so it will act as an authenticator. In this, message is sent between two users. It means in a network there will be many users, but it will be between two users. For example, user A and user B. So, and the message is encrypted using symmetric keys. Symmetric keys, it means in a network there will be two users. So when they want to transmit a message, so they need to encrypt the message and decrypt the message. So encrypt and decrypt are done with using keys. They are symmetric keys. And in hash code acts as an authenticator. In hash function, same as message encryption, there will be two users. So when sending the message, user A should encrypt the message and send to user B, where user B decrypts the message and decrypt the message and see the message. So here hash code acts as an authenticator. Hash code means when a message is sent, we will encrypt the message using hash function. So the formula will be h of m equals to small h. Small h is nothing but the hash code. So it acts as an authenticator. Message is sent between two users, same as message encryption. And the message is encrypted using symmetric key. So what is mean by symmetric key and asymmetric key? Symmetric key is nothing but in a network when a user A sends to message to user B, they will encrypted using same keys K. But in symmetric keys, there will be two keys, public keys and private keys, where public key will be available near all the users in the network, but private key available near only the one user. So what is method authentication code? Authentication in this authentication code acts as an authenticator. It means when a message is encrypted, we will also encrypt the message using a formula C of m equals to small c. Small c is nothing but authentication code which acts as an authenticator. Here also message is sent between two users and the message is encrypted using asymmetric key. Asymmetric key is nothing but, as I said before, it is public key and private keys. So working of message encryption. In this encryption there are two scenarios: symmetric key method and asymmetric key method. So message is in between two users and message is encrypted using a symmetric key K and and uh, and is sent to user B in a network. B decrypts the message using the same symmetric key which is encrypted by A, that is key K, and he will decrypt the message using the same key K, and he will receive the plain text. And the second scenario is asymmetric key method. In this method, when sending message from one user to another user in a network, one first user, example user A, he will encrypt the message using public key of B. So, and the encrypted message is sent to user B, and he decrypts the message using his private key, because we encrypted the message using public key of B. So he should only use public key of B to decrypt the message. So this is asymmetric key method in message encryption. Here, as I said before, in asymmetric key method, we will be using two keys, public key and private key. Here, user A encrypts the message using private key of A, and he sends the encrypted message to user B, where user B needs to decrypt the message. So he should only use the public key of A, because it is encrypted using private key of A. So here comes the problem, because in previous scenarios, in this scenario, Private key is available near only user A, but public key is available near all the users in the network. So for this, we will be using a double encryption at both sides. It means we will encrypt the message using a private key of A, and again we will encrypt the message using public key of B. So here user A sends a message to user B. He will encrypt the message using private key of A, and he will encrypt the message again using public key of B. So here two layers of encryptions are performed. So we need to decrypt the message. For decryption, we will be using private key of B because the outer layer was encrypted by public key of B. So here we will be using private key of B, and outer layer will be accessed. And so for decrypting the inner layer, we used private key of A. So for decrypting the inner layer, we will be using public key of A. So the final text, which is plain text, will be sent to can be accessed by user B. This is called double encryption at both sides. We are increasing the security measures in this because public key will be available near all the users in the network, but private key will be available near only the particular user. So, what are the benefits of double encryption? We'll be benefits of double encryption is nothing but because we in the network there will be public key near all the users, as I said before, but the private key will be available near the particular user B or user A. For example, public key of B is available near user A in the network, but private key of B is available near the only user B. Of message authentication code symmetric method. So message is sent to user A to user B. Here we'll be using authentication function C, and we'll be encrypting it using key K, and we'll be appending the message and user A to B, and here we'll be using the authentication function which is C, and we'll be encrypting the output of authentication function, and we'll be appending message and authentication function. And here comes a problem. Here we are only encrypting message authentication code, and we are not encrypting the message. So uh, we'll be using authentication tied to plain text in the next scenario. So here message and the encrypted MAC is sent to user B, and he will decrypt the MAC, that is message authentication code, and he will compare the authentication function and message authentication code. If both compared keys are equal, he will be able to access the data. Here we will be using authentication tied to plain text. In this, message is also encrypted and MAC is also encrypted. Here MAC and MAC both we send to user B, and he will also use authentication function, and he will produce a authentication code, that is message authentication code, and he will compare both the codes. If both the codes are equal, he will be able to access. So here is the diagram. Message A is appended to message authentication function. So and again it encrypted MAC and encrypted message, and we will decrypt the message, and we will use authentication function, and it gives the output message authentication code. We will compare the encrypted MAC and authentication code. If both the codes are equal, we will be giving access to user B. So hash function, in this hash code acts as an authenticator. So here also two users will be A and B. Here we'll encrypt the message using symmetric key K, and and the message is sent to user B in a network. B decrypts the message using the same symmetric key. We will see the diagram. Message A is appended along with code as same as message authentication code. Here we will be using hash function H, and we will encrypt the hash function using private key of A, and we will append both the message and encrypted hash code. So through the message, we will again user B will again use the hash function and produce a hash code. So he will compare the decrypted hash code and the output hash code. If both are equal, he will be able to access the message. Now SHA-256 algorithm. It is nothing but algorithm which is used in cryptography hash function, which we can give any amount of input, but it will produces output of 160 bit, which is known as message digest. For example, we will take message A, B, C, where the encoded SHA will be in binary code will be 0 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 triple zeros 1 0 0 1 1 triple 0 1 1. So here we'll be using ASCII code of A, B, C to convert the alphabet to binary code. So ASCII code of A is 97 and B is 98, C is 99. So 97 in binary is 0114001 and 98 in binary is 0114010 and 99 in binary is 0110011. So in first step we will be using 5 random hex characters H0 to H4. So there will be predefined hex code. We'll be using some random hex code for hash functions. So here the message M is 0 0 1 1 0 4 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 4 3 zeros 1 1. So here we will be appending a 1 at the last of the message M. So now the length of the message will be 64 bits. So the message should be 512 bits. So we will be appending zeros at the end of the message M. So for finding how many zeros we need to add at the end of the message, we'll be using a formula which is predefined for hash function, that is L plus 1 plus constant k equals to 448 mod 512. So 448 mod 512 is predefined because if we use any number mod 448, we'll get the output 448. So the length L equals to 24 bits and k constant equals to 448 minus 24 is the length of the bits plus 1 equals to 423 bits. So we will be adding 423 0 bits after the message M. So here we'll be adding zeros at the end of the message M. So now the length of the padded message will be 448. So 440. So we should get the multiple of 512 in using SHA-52 algorithm. SHA-256 algorithm. So we will be adding the length of our message at the end of the code. That is in our case that is 24. So 24 in binary is 3 zeros 1 1 0 0. So now we have our input which will be always divisible by 12. So now we create 8 hash values that are hard-coded constant that represent the first 32 bits of the fractional parts of square root of first 8 primes. So the first 8 primes are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. So as I said before, there will be predefined hash functions H0 to S7 that are given below 0x6a 099e 667 and so on. So here is the message. Here is the padded message that is 512 bits. So ABC are written in binary as I said before, and one is appended at the last. So the length will be 25. So we'll be adding 423 zeros at the end of the message for the padding. So the overall length will be 423 plus 25, that is 448. So we need a number 512 number of bits which is always divisible by 512. So we'll be adding length of our string, that is 24 at the end of the padded message. So the total length of the hash will be 448 plus 64, that is 512, which is satisfied. Now we will convert whole hash into hexadecimal. So A will be 61 and C will be 62 and B also will be 62. 423 bits will be 8000 and 64 bits will be 0018. And we will run a loop so that all the addition is modulo 2 modulo 32. So we'll be concatenating the final hash. Lastly, we need to concatenate all the values. We get the hash code, that is digest equals to h0 a plus h1 plus h2 plus h3 plus h4 plus h5 plus h6 through h7. So the hash code will be BA781 for ABC. So this will be constant always. So for ABC message ABC, this will be the hash code. Thank you.